how's it going? It's been a while, right? It's been like a year and a half, almost, somehow. Look, okay, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to pull a my dad and leave unexpectedly with no real goodbye, Dad. But, unlike my dad, I'm back. So, let's get to the content. Lego animations. Question time. Why Lego animations? And is it true that you still get no bitches? Of course I don't get bitches. I make Lego animations. As far as why Lego animations, honestly, I just tried a bunch of different things trying to just get out of Minecraft animation. So I just tried a bunch of different things. I tried music, I tried creating original 3D characters, I tried drawing, like 2D animation. Basically, immediately after I realized I didn't like drawing, I just kind of made a Lego animation and it popped off and I love making it. So yeah, Lego animation. But I know you're here to get a look at how it's made, how Lego animations are made, what goes into making one from start to finish. Well, grab your popcorn and keep procrastinating on that homework, because do I have a video for you. I do have to specify though, this isn't really a tutorial, it's more just a overall look at the process. But there are some technical details that I do go over, so honestly, something here for everybody. Please stick around, I need that watch time. Alright, first things first, I always create a project folder to keep everything organized. A lot of people overlook the importance of organization and will just keep their files on their desktop or something. But in my opinion, you have to stay organized if you value your work at all. Find a permanent place to put your projects and create folders for each project. This way, you'll know where everything is, which is important if you ever, I don't know, need to reuse assets. After that, it's time to get to work. If the animation is an original animation, I'll create an outline where I'll start brainstorming jokes and scenarios and connect them all together. Once I have a basic idea of what I want, I'll start translating my brainstorm gibberish into a usable script. Finally, I'll record the audio, add some sound effects if needed in Resolve, such as like a Vine boom sound effect, and send it to friends for some feedback. I cannot stress how important feedback is if you're pursuing anything creative. Get genuine feedback from people. Now that the script and base audio is done, I can start the actual 3D work. I start with asset creation. A wiser person might start with storyboarding and plan a bit more, but I am not a wise person. Obviously, you should have some idea of what you're going to do in your head at the very least, but you can usually expand on these ideas without too much planning, at least for short form content. For longer content, like a 10-minute short film, you're probably going to want to plan more. Anyway, first I'll assemble any characters that I need. I build my characters in BrickLeak Studio, which uses the LDRAW parts library. The LDRAW library considers rendered images specifically free of the copyright of the library, which is already a Creative Commons 2 license, so yeah, more rights for me. Anyway, I'll design the characters and export them in the LDRAW file format. Now, Blender doesn't natively support importing LDRAW files, so I'll use this LDRAW importer from GitHub. It hasn't been updated since 2020, however, and honestly, I'm surprised that it still works. It was made for Blender 2.8. There's a new one that does still get regular updates, and I highly encourage any Python wizards to help contribute to it. Honestly, I only use the older one because it auto-bevels the pieces. I'll leave links to both in the description, though I do suggest the new one. The creator is really good about getting back to people with issues. Once the characters are in, I'll rig them. I have a rig that I created from scratch. Seriously, it took like 40 hours to rig it, but it does everything I need it to, and I'm pretty happy with it. Here's the thing about the LDRAW pieces. They do not have textures. The decals are cut into the meshes and every face has a shader assigned to it. This wouldn't be a problem if I was doing Lego movie style animation, but I animate in the bendy style of the Lego games and I need the parts to deform well. So what I do is I bake the mesh to a texture and basically transfer it over to my rig's torso, which does have good deformations and topology. I UV unwrap whatever LDRAW piece that I need. Give each shader an image texture with an unconnected blank newly created image. Set the material to emission and use these settings to bake the shaders to the image. I need to use emission because it bakes the lighting that the world casts to the shader, and no light can be cast to something emitting light, you know? After that's done, I'll save the image, then use a data transfer modifier on my rig's torso and use it to copy the UVs from the LDRAW mesh that I unwrapped. Then, boom, the texture sits perfectly. I created my own brick shader that I use for the characters, so all I have to do is import the necessary color from my asset library and add the texture on top of it. After that, I repeat the process for every character piece that has decals. For the non-decal parts, I just assign the shader I made in whatever color is needed. And there we have it. Definitely more work than assigning a skin to a Minecraft rig, that's for sure. For the sets, it's a lot more simple. I usually create every set from scratch brick by brick, but occasionally I'll use something in the library of sets for like a background piece or something. After the set is done, I'll export it from Studio, just like the characters, and import it into Blender. There are sometimes issues with the bricks caused by the importer that I usually have to fix, but aside from that, it's essentially plug and play with my shader. And there you go, the assets are done. Animation. Both my favorite part of the creation process and the most demanding. As I said before, I don't do too much planning beyond having a few shot ideas in my head and a few visual written jokes in the brainstorm document. I start with a few key poses, especially for more complex movements, and essentially just play by ear. I'm not the greatest animator to have ever lived, obviously, but I think my grasp on timing and posing is pretty decent. I've slowly started utilizing this a bit more, and I've been animating in a bit more of a cartoony style. Take a look at the LDRAW animation, the first one I ever did versus, I don't know, the OnlyFans one. The animation style is quite a bit more exaggerated in the OnlyFans one. After I finish the biomechanics, I'll go and polish it up, as well as do the face animation. I do the body mechanics first because I don't want to rely on face animation for character emotion. If I can't tell what the character is feeling based on biomechanics alone, then I've done something wrong. However, I haven't always nailed this, let's be honest. Now, it's time for lighting and rendering. This is where I make the scenes look pretty and make sure every shot is readable. Some lighting is done when setting up the scene before animation, but at this stage is where I bring it all together, usually with a lot of spot lamps. After that's done, I triple check each shot for mistakes, enable the emission and mist passes in the render layer settings, and then just let it render using the Cycles render engine. I render to EXR images because of the flexibility when it comes to color correction and compositing, which I do in DaVinci Resolve, not Blender. Once the rendering is done, I'll bring the image sequence into DaVinci Resolve Studio 18 and assemble it in the editor. Then I'll do some color correction, add glow and mist using the emission and mist passes in Fusion if needed, along with the motion blur, and then do some more color correction to make sure everything pops. After that, I'll add finishing touches if needed, such as more sound effects or some text at the beginning, and there we have it, a finished animation ready for uploading. Well, congratulations, you made it through the video. So yeah, these animations have a lot put into them, and that's why they take a while. Granted, I could be more efficient, but I have work and school to balance, and I digress. Hopefully that was entertaining at the very least, and hey, maybe it was educational. It's always nice, learn something. And yeah, I guess I'm back to uploading. I'm not going to hold myself to a schedule or anything, so don't expect that. I'm just going to take it chill. Do what I think is fun. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.